Welcome to Expert Profiles Atlanta, where Atlanta's influencers and innovators share strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in business and life. Here's your host, best-selling author and Atlanta influencer, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Matt Rogers. Matt is the owner and the Web and Mobile Consultant at SolutionBuilt.com, and he helps businesses design, build, and market their web or mobile app project. And Matt has started his career in the world of startups in the late 90s and instantly worked on projects with some big major brands, and he has helped thousands of companies with their web and mobile strategies. So welcome to the show, Matt Rogers.
Hey, Neil. Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, Matt, but ultimately, what kind of clients you help.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, I started in the late 90s. I worked with a company that was in startup mode, actually a couple companies that were in startup mode, and helped really work with people that were wanting to get their businesses online at that time. Mm-hmm. The internet was in its infancy, and people were, first buying their first domain names and trying to figure out what their website, how that would work for their business, and ultimately how they may be able to attract new customers and, sell things online. So that's where I started.
Right. And it's come a long way back from the late 90s. People were, wondering why they needed a website. They hadn't needed one up to that point, but now it is a must. So, what kind of clients are you dealing with now? Who's their bread and butter? Is it local businesses, or do you work with the big companies, or a mixture of all?
Yeah. So, you're right. Like, we started trying to convince people that the yellow pages were going to go out of style. And as you noticed over the years, that the book has gotten smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. When we first started our company, we've been doing this for 14 years. We were founded in 2004. So we started working with a lot of our friends and family and small businesses in the local area. But now we still support those sort of companies. But we also work with a lot of medical enterprise and startups with their web and mobile app projects.
Mm. And that's something else that has come a long way as well. I mean, the word app didn't even, come around for the last, 5-10 years. So are a lot of these different companies needing apps now for their businesses?
A lot of them think they do. And they may not really need an app, and that's what we help our customers figure out is taking their app ideas and making them to be a solution for their enterprise or for their business. Most of the apps that we work with are not, the next Angry Birds or a game. They're applications that are used to automate processes or streamline their day-to-day operations. A lot of B2B and enterprise-oriented apps.
Mm-hmm. And this has become extremely important in the day and age that we are, where, the clients are instant gratification. They want results right away, and they're not willing to wait. So how important is it to have, a proper website design that has the right information on it?
Oh, it's huge. As more and more people are moving away from the traditional marketing, online marketing is something that's the cornerstone for any business's online or marketing strategy these days. It's more cost effective, and you actually have a real-time measurement with digital marketing, which a lot of companies find valuable. So you're able to really set up a campaign and find out what's working or not in real time. So it's becoming more and more critical that websites are constructed in a way that easily conveys the message or helps offer the services or products that they're wanting to put out there.
Mm-hmm. With all the technology in today's day and age, it's easy to get, disconnected from people. But ultimately, people still want to do business with people, not businesses. So how do you get that message across from a website that is going to get people engaged with the business?
Sure. Well, in the web world, people don't read on the internet, they scan.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel that, trying to truly understand a company's process and their solutions or their service offerings and putting that into something that's very readable, not necessarily trying to stuff it through with a lot of keywords and spammy jargon, but really trying to condense your message into something that's readable, not only works well for the end user, but also works pretty well for the search engines.
Right, and that's definitely helpful, and they're getting smarter and smarter. There's no keyword stuffing anymore. You get penalized for that. But what about video? How important is video in a web presence?
Oh, it's huge. Video really helps you relay a story in a way that people can, truly understand what your company does in 30 seconds or less. It also helps, I think, with web presence. It helps with bounce rates on pages that people land on. It gives them something to look at for a little while.
Yeah, they tend to stay and watch a video longer than they would if they were just scanning a page. So that's really important. Right, Matt, well, tell me the process. If somebody is looking to get some work done, what's the first thing that you do with them? Is it a consultation, or do you sit with them on the phone for a while, get information from them?
Yeah, so when people come to us, they're either coming to us for one of our three services. We offer mobile app development, web development, and search marketing.
Okay.
And a lot of times when they're coming in off the street, they're trying to figure out, in most cases, how much it costs. Is this idea feasible? And how long will it take? So what we've started doing a few years ago is, getting an idea of what sort of app they want to do. Everything that we do could be face-to-face or on the phone. We love meeting in person because that truly lets us take down some of the barriers and truly get to meet this person and understand what makes them tick, what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. Same token, we understand at that point that they're truly interested in meeting with, experts in the field and are taking time out of their day to meet with somebody face to face. So we know that they're invested in their project.
And that's extremely important. So what information are you getting out of them at that point? Are you trying to get all the information to tell their story and their services? How much time does it take for them to share all that information?
Well, that's a good question, Neil. Sometimes if it's a simple website project, you may be able to accomplish and get a good idea what they need in a hour meeting, 30 minutes to an hour. You could put together a solution rather quickly. But when it comes to search marketing and mobile app projects, there's a lot of moving parts. So we like to take the time to see if we're a good fit from a company standpoint. If our values meet their values, if we're going to be able to get along throughout the project and to help them support the project in the future, we want to make sure first that they're a good fit for our company and that we're a good fit for them. After that, once we decide that we're going to move forward, what we start with is a discrete piece of work that we call solution design. And that's when we sit down with them. Outside of this initial consultation, we'll set up another meeting or series of meetings where we're gathering requirements to help them understand if their ideas are feasible, and then we put together project plans or marketing plans surrounding their needs.
Right, and I think from a business owner standpoint, they might think, okay, I need a website. I'm going to hire this company to go and do it for me. And they think once they've made that decision to hire somebody, then it will just get done. But there's a lot of need and involvement from them to get that information. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to share their view.
Oh, that's 100% correct. And especially with larger companies, for instance, when you're working with like an arthritis foundation or maybe a medical company of some sort, they're coming to you for your expertise in mobile apps, and they have a good idea what they want to do, but you also have to work through all the departments within that organization. And so a lot of times what we're doing is we're helping them make departmental decisions and making sure that, for instance, the marketing, the tech, and maybe the executives are all on the same page. Because when you get into these larger projects, a lot of times these departments may have different ideas, and you have to come up with some sort of solution that's going to meet everyone's needs, or at least most of their needs. Right, and that's a hard thing to do sometimes, is to get all departments to think the same. So that can be a complex task. Talk to me about the search marketing part of it. What kind of things are you able to do for companies to get them found online? Yeah, sure. So anybody that has a website, you have a couple options. You're just going to have a website on your business card, which is a brochure site, as a follow-up piece, or you're actively going to you would want to, be on the first page of Google. And everybody wants to be number one. Unfortunately, if anybody promises you to be in the number one position after an initial consultation, you probably want to run away as fast as you can, because there's no guarantees that you're going to get first positions. But with enough, it's all about content at the end of the day, Neil. I mean, about this, like, for instance, unique content that's maybe radio, or it may be video, or it may be the content on the website, the copy on the website. And are you able to do the copy for the businesses as well? Yes. So what we'll do is we'll look at really what sort of service offerings or products that they're trying to put in the marketplace, do all the keyword research, find out what keywords we should target, not only from an organic SEO perspective, but also on other channels like paid search. Mm-hmm. Yeah, paid is definitely important, especially if you're just getting started, because there is that time lag, especially if you're doing SEO. What kind of time frame are you really looking at to get somebody established with a good SEO presence? Yeah, that's a good question. We actually had a client recently, and I don't want to name any names, but when they started, they basically gave us a 5-week timeline to really radically change their PPC campaign. And they wanted more or less instant gratification. And you can get that with pay-per-click. But with existing campaigns, a lot of our customers are not startups. That's, we're working with companies that have a sizable marketing budget, that may already have multi-channel marketing set up. And what we do is we'll come in and help them optimize their budgets, get a true understanding of the cost per lead for each channel, and help them decide what services they should be renewing or focusing on. And we manage that and report on that on a monthly basis. And we constantly improve that. So as far as if you're getting started with organic search, for instance, it may take 2 to 3 months to get all the content and site optimized and get that put into play on their live website. And then from there, you may be waiting 2 to 3 months for that to actually start seeing results. So it's not something that's instant. The only thing that you can really get any sort of instant gratification with is setting up a new pay-per-click campaign from scratch. Right. And what are some of the misconceptions then, and some of the myths about being found online? Do they think that it's
turnkey and it's going to be done and they'll start getting traffic right away?
Some people do. Some people, really have been, unfortunately, taken advantage of in the search marketing world. SEO is a bad word for a lot of companies because there's, unfortunately, companies out there that sign up for a service and somebody makes them a lot of promises, for instance, first page positions or number one positions, but they don't deliver. So when they come to us, we really have to try. It's a challenge for them to see what SEO is all about and why they should pick SolutionBuilt.
Right. So SEO, would you say, is still the base for any company that wants to be in the market for a long period of time?
I think it's something that's sustainable. Yeah, I mean, paid search and search avenues are definitely an accelerator, but at the end of the day, content marketing is something that you can put together, whether it be a blog or optimizing a page on your site with the proper content, or creating a video or some sort of podcast. Those are things that you will have forever. That's something that you could put out there, and as long as you build and repeatedly each month work on your content strategy, that's something that's building real value over time. Versus a lot of the paid marketing, once you get done with your daily budget or your monthly budget, and if you ever turn it off, that traffic's going away.
That's right, and that's a big problem. You don't want to rely on that. You want free traffic, if there is such a thing, coming in as much as possible. And all these little content pieces that you mentioned have a chance to draw somebody to your website at some point. With a piece of content such as this, like a podcast, what other things can you do with it other than, have the audio on your site?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that, this really lets people understand who you are. You're creating content so that they can truly get a good understanding of what your company does, who you are, but also you're making yourself like the domain authority in your industry. The more content that you put out there that's helpful or that's that's producing some sort of value, the more that you build up. Basically, as people come to your website and look at your social channels or whatnot, they're seeing that you're actually active and you're an active practitioner in your industry, which means a lot to a lot of end users.
Right. And based on, the market, I'm sure it's different in each market, but how easy is it for a competitor to come in to a new market that knows what they're doing as far as the content strategies and be able to take over in a short period of time?
I don't know if it's short period of time. Nothing's easy these days, but it's all about content, and it's certainly doable. We've, for instance, in our own business, we've had companies that are based out of Australia that have tried to take over some of our local positions. But as long as you continue to brand yourself and you have a good agency on your side, somebody that understands the search marketing as well as PPC, you can put together campaigns and really optimize your messaging to hopefully make sure that you retain your positions.
All right. Well, for people that are thinking that they need a better web presence, what do you think the things that might hold them back from taking action are?
Well, whether it's a web or mobile app, a lot of it is them truly not understanding their requirements, or just wanting to give you a short snippet of their requirements and expect a price. And it's very hard to gauge a price on limited information. It's really a big risk for all parties involved. So really the best way to go about it is to find a credible agency that you can work with and describe to them what you're looking to do and allow them to put together some plans for your consideration. there's no one size fits all sort of solution out there.
Now, over your years of dealing with all these different businesses and companies that you have dealt with, Matt, what is one lesson that you learned very quickly early on in dealing with these companies that still impacts how you do business today?
Well, I don't think I put this in my interview questionnaire initially, but if you don't have the market or the right branding and strategy behind it, if you're not actively going out and doing focus group testing or testing what you're trying to sell on the internet or through mobile apps with the end users, then you may be putting together a solution or a project that's going to fail. And so I think the biggest thing is to listen to the market, find out what they truly want, and make sure that your services align with that.
Yeah, that's extremely important. So many businesses or owners have an idea of what they think is, a great idea, and then they put all this money behind it, and they launch it, and they figure out that it wasn't a great idea. So, yeah, testing is extremely important. So, talk to me about some of the businesses that you have worked with. If there's any that spring to mind, what kind of problems or issues were they having before they came to you for help? What were you able to do for them? And ultimately, what was their outcome?
That's a tough question, Neil. Because I really don't want to throw anybody under the bus, to be honest. A lot of these companies have challenges. I think the biggest challenge that companies have is when they're doing a complex web or mobile app project. In many cases, let's face it, these web, desktop computers and handheld and mobile devices are all being used within somebody's day in business. And one of the biggest problems that we see is people are looking at what problem or a solution that they may want to build, but they're not looking at it from the end user's perspective. And you can have the greatest code in the world on the back end, and it may be a wonderful idea, but if you do not have something that's going to work on multiple devices and be usable, user-friendly with the interface, then you're not going to have early adopters. You're not going to have the ability to retain those users that you're trying to, create a solution for.
Yeah, it's got to be functional. It's got to serve a purpose, and it's also got to serve a need. There's got to be a need in the marketplace. All right, Matt, well, if somebody is looking for a web design company or a search marketing company to work with, what are the kinds of questions they should be asking?
I think experience, getting a good background to see if they can actually, if they truly understand the project. I think a lot of people don't take the time to do that anymore, whether it be the customer or the developers. They just get so excited about the project where they decide that they select a company based on price or out of sheer need or desperation because they can actually start on that project immediately without fully going through and taking the time to ascertain all the requirements.
That's good advice. Starting a big project with the wrong company is going to cause a lot of headaches. So, doing your due diligence and reaching out to somebody that has that background and is competent in what they're doing and is able to show the results of past clients is very, very important. Now, Matt Rogers, he is the owner and Web and Mobile Consultant for SolutionBuilt. If people want to get in contact with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Just go to our website, solutionbuilt.com, and you can basically check out our work. You can fill out a form for a project inquiry, and we'll be glad to respond to you as quickly as possible.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for spending time with me today. Thanks for all the great information that you have given. And if you're in the Atlanta area and you need help with your website, give Matt a call. Thank you very much, Matt, again, for being my guest on Expert Profiles Atlanta today.
Thank you so much, Neil. I enjoyed it.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
Thank you for listening to Expert Profiles Atlanta with Neil Howe. To learn more about the resources in the show or to listen to past episodes, visit expertprofilesatlanta.com.